Hello, Terry. Hi, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you? How about you?
Good, not a bother. Nice and busy.
Ama- Amazing to have you. It's great that we made it, and I'm so curious to get to know more about you, your story, and your passion, right?
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
So let's dive in. Where
Okay.
your story? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? And what were your first hobbies and passions as a child?
So I live in Dublin. I'm from Dublin in Ireland. I
Yeah.
actually live around the corner from where I grew up, so I didn't go very far. And my husband is Paul. We're together 22 years,
Wow.
and yeah, that's a long time. And my son is 24 from a previous relationship, and
Mhm.
I'm a grandmother. He has a 2-year-old. So, and my husband's daughter just had a baby as well, so I'm grandmother twice. And um, I'm from Dublin city centre, so raised right in the city.
Mhm.
I went to regular school, went to secondary school. I don't know if that's what it's
Mhm.
called there. I didn't go to college. I had a teen pregnancy, and I started to work in retail, and I worked my way up from serving at the checkouts to a senior management role, eventually being over half the country. So I done that for nearly 20 years.
Wow.
And so um it's only in the last 6 years that I'm a nutritional therapist. I completely changed career and started to study nutritional therapy, and that was at age 37. So it's never too late, to go and follow your passion.
I love that. So let's get
Yeah.
back because that was in a nutshell, kind of.
Oh, sorry.
But very interesting. So did I get that right? You were a teen mom, so you already
Yeah.
had like first like that's a huge one. Um,
Yeah.
how did you cope with that, and how did you manage?
So I managed with the help of my parents because I was so young. So I managed that way, and I kept, I went to work. I didn't stay, wasn't a stay at home. I still wanted to get out and provide.
Yeah,
And my son's father died at 3 months old, so that was a bit more complicated. So that was pretty hard. Yeah, he was.
yeah,
But I think when you're younger, so I have friends now that are my age with toddlers, and it just looks so much harder. I think when you're younger, you grow up with them more, I think,
yeah.
and you learn together. So we're very proud of him now. He's turned out very well.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So as you said, like because like that's really something a lot of people may also find kind of a help or support in, like the way how you
Yeah.
cope. Because like you had your parents, that's amazing, but
Yeah.
on a mental level, or on a psychological level, that's
Yeah.
a total different story. So how did you support yourself or get support and help?
Yeah. So I think it was just a case of you had to get on with it. You have this living human, tiny little human that you have to feed and clothe and support. And I was determined, not to be like a benefits person, or, which is needed sometimes, but I didn't want that for myself.
Yeah,
So with the help of my parents, babysitting and childminding, I was able to go to work then. And I suppose staying in contact with friends too, that
mhm,
would have helped as well.
yeah,
And still balancing some kind of social life. So because it can
right.
get very hard on your own with a child.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
wow, that's amazing. But it's also like, did it also give you a lot of strength later on, because like you already had to face a lot of things at an early age.
Yeah.
So how did that help you later on then?
I think it helped me. It definitely helped me a lot in work and progressing to a senior management level. A lot of my feedback would be that, I was really good under pressure, and that I was relentless in getting what we needed to get done. I think in hindsight, that can be a strength in overdrive sometimes,
Yeah.
if you're not getting a balance. But definitely, having that, that need for that I have to keep continuing, you have to keep going, that helped. I worked in senior retail, like it's, people think you just stack the shelves and put, that's it. There's so much more to a very stressful environment.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, and that also gave me I had a big passion for retailing and for a long time as well. It's not like that I hated it. Yeah.
Cool. That's very cool. So you had a great passion for retail, and then you had your career going on and so on.
Yeah. So I had a great passion for retail. I moved very quickly up the ladder into all different senior management roles. And I think the higher you get sometimes in those companies, the more stress can be. There's a lot of politics. Yeah. And I took a lot of, stress on myself without realizing, because you're just continually looking after your customer instead of looking after yourself. And of course you do 50 plus hours a week, sometimes could be a lot more on shift work. And I had ignored for years. So I had ignored for years, stomach pains and cramps and bloating and go through periods of ignoring it, or else go to the doctor and then get sent to specialists and different stuff. And you're told, I was told you have IBS, you just need to get on with it.
Yeah.
And really my body was just stressed. And, I would do whatever they told me, take medications, take painkillers, and that was all real, just a sticky plaster, just a Band-Aid over it. It wasn't helping me at all. And I finally went to a nutritional therapist. That's what I am now. And she asked me questions I'd never been asked before, just simple little questions, and gave me really simple, easy next steps, stuff that I could change really easily. And I did, and I felt within weeks I felt like a new person. And that really sparked my passion for nutrition then, because I just couldn't get over how well you could feel just by making changes in your diet. I was waking up having probably 2 black coffees before even leaving the house without eating anything, not eating breakfast till later in the day. So sometimes that works for people. It doesn't work when your body's in a stress response. And I was eating all the wrong things. And when I adjusted my diet, I just felt much better. And that's what I get really passionate about, is, spreading that word to others. And then really, when clients come to me and they're in similar, maybe not as bad positions, and I help them get back on track and start to feel better, that's what really drives me now, so that they can feel better too.
So what I'm curious about, how bad were you when you went to the nutritional therapist, and what was the first thing you changed?
Okay, so I was really bad, as in very bloated. It was probably about 2 stone extra of weight. My stomach looked so distended that I looked like I was pregnant, 6 months, 8 months pregnant. I couldn't really eat. You'd be hungry, but then start to eat and I'd feel full very quick, which is very common in clients I see now. And the biggest thing, the simplest thing that she helped me with, was to have a bowel movement every day. They could be amazed. A bowel movement every day.
What's that? What's a bowel movement?
A bowel movement is what we'd call a poop, going to the toilet, number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
A great one. I've learned something new now. Okay.
That's the clinical term, but we can say poop. But so I probably wouldn't go back then for days and days, and it's because your body's in a stress response. And when you don't go for a few days, the stuff that's being dumped into your colon, it's there for too long, starts producing toxins, makes you gets soaked back into your bloodstream, makes you feel very sick and tired and fatigued. And that's why I specialized in gut health. I focus on that with every single client. We talk a good bit, maybe 10 minutes every session, in real detail around bowel movements. And it's, for me, and then for a lot of my clients, once we start to have 1 to 3 Melvins a day, you can feel so much better. So probably not your topic you wanted.
No, that's important, you know.
Yeah.
And well, let me just say poop. It's easier.
Yeah.
But no, and it's important because I believe that gut health is responsible for so many. Yeah. Okay, so that would be question number 1, which I will make like a short reel about. Like, what are symptoms of where you feel like, okay, that's a gut health issue?
Health problem?
Yeah.
Okay, so bloating.
Yeah.
Obviously bloat, pain anywhere within the abdominal region.
Okay.
And there's different areas telling me different things. You know, if it's the bottom of your abdomen, the top, the right, the left, can tell me all different things that are going on. Reflux, where you're belching and acid is kind of coming back up.
Yeah.
Being hungry maybe for your breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and you start to eat and then you're full really quick.
Okay.
It's a sign your digestive juices aren't working. And then so those kind of physical symptoms also would include like acne and sore joints, issues with your period, getting a lab result of your thyroid being off. They're all related back to gut health.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah. Good to know. So
there's a lot. It's responsible for, because like your gut is just, it's from your mouth to your anus. It's this tube that goes down. It's only like tiny. It's only 1 millimeter thick. The wall is only 1 millimeter thick.
Wow.
But then it branches up. So that's why we need to be, gentle to it, because you can damage it very easily. And then it branches off to all your different organs, like your liver, your gallbladder, then, small intestine, large intestine, of course, is part of it, your stomach. And then, like, it's massively important for making hormones and making vitamins. That all gets made by not all, but it contributes to that being made within your gut bacteria, contributes to making hormones, different vitamins, and your immune cells, and your happy hormones. It's responsible for so many things.
Oh, wow. What you actually do is like planning your daily tasks, your notes, what you're thankful for, your mood, how your day was, and so on. And it's actually in German and English in one book, as you can see. You go to the vision board, then your main 4 goals for this book, then your monthly goals, and then you start off planning the day. Have fun with it. Enjoy your personal success journal. Okay, so what are the main 3 things one can do to kind of taking good care of that tumor?
Okay, so one of the big things I would say that we see a lot is rest and digest. Okay, and what I mean is, instead, we're all busy lives, but just shoving food into your mouth isn't going to work out. You need to just, even if you take a few deep breaths before you eat, and you're just telling your body, I'm going to eat now. So when you do that, your brain fires up and it tells your mouth to start producing saliva, which helps break down the food. It tells your stomach to produce stomach acid and digestive enzymes, and that breaks down the food even more. So we need it in a broken down state to get through your gut smoothly. If it doesn't get through smoothly, it's in too hard a form, and that's where it gives you gas and cramps and pain. And then you also don't absorb your nutrients from it properly, because it's not, it needs to be in mush. So rest, digest, little deep breaths, tell your body that you're going to start eating.
Wow, okay.
And that's the first step. And then looking at your plate and looking at what you're eating. So, if you've got a busy day today and you just have a quick coffee running out of the house, what's it doing for you? It's going to give you energy maybe for 20 minutes, half an hour, and that's it. There's not much, there is studies to show it's supportive to your liver and gallbladder for some people, but there's no nutrition in there. It's not going to feed your body. And the same goes then come 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you just have a croissant. There's nothing in that either that's going to sustain you for the day. So you're constantly just looking at what you're eating and what can it do for your body. So is there protein in there that will help make hormones? Is there fiber in there that will help me have a poop? Is there, B vitamins that are going to help my stress response? What's going on in my plate? And a good idea is just to make sure you always have some protein, some fats, healthy fats, and some carbs. Carbs are very important. And then, so what was the question? Adding in?
The third thing, to take good care.
Sorry. So eating a wide variety in your diet. So not like, obviously, we all know we shouldn't be eating like processed foods all the time, takeouts. We know they're really bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can get into just eating maybe chicken, broccoli, and rice. And it's the same thing all the time. Same oatmeal for breakfast, same salad for lunch. And while it's better than eating all the processed foods, that's pretty good, but mix it up. So when you go to your supermarket shop, maybe buy 5 fruit and veg, 2 or 3 different types of meat or fish. And then the next week, mix it up and get different ones. So different fruit and veg, different meat and fish. And then what that does, it creates diversity in your gut bacteria. So you're feeding the good gut bugs in your gut. And the more diverse they are, the better. There's trillions of them in there. They all do different jobs. If you're only feeding the one type all the time, the others will die off and you may miss out them.
Oh, wow. Because that's now a big one because I'm a fan of minimalism. Now I've got an issue.
Yes.
Because you say mix it up and really have all sorts of different vegetables and fruits and so on going on. So, so there then minimalism is not the way to go for, right?
Yeah, maybe it is just not all the time, mix it up a little.
Okay.
So if you're eating the same thing all the time, bring in a different veg this week. And then next week, try something else.
Yeah. Then on a weekly basis. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I would generally try and shop. I don't know what it's like where you live there, but you buy your fruit salads and berries, and maybe in 3 days they're not so good, depending on what you're shopping. So sometimes it's good to mix that up. Go shopping twice in the week. There's home shopping now. There's no excuse for busy times. You can just have it there every 3 or 4 days.
True. And
that's all. The prebiotics are really important. Like I would rarely tell a client to take a probiotic, the capsule form.
Yeah.
So there is loads out there and they're very good, but they're not for everyone. A lot of the time we're better off getting the live bacteria, the actual bacteria from the fruit and veg.
Yeah. Got that.
Get a difference in. Yeah. And then we need all the important nutrients from meat and fish and eggs. And of course, if you're a vegetarian, then you're trying to get it from beans and pulses. And really, if you're a vegetarian or vegan, it's even more important to have a wide variety. So you're not just getting the same types of proteins as well.
Yeah, that's also something because I love the, beans and so on. But it's really, if you're mainly eating I'm kind of flexitarian, but more a vegetarian, and it's really then hard to switch it up there and then to mix it up.
Well, say if someone feels like sometimes people feel like they eat too much meat, say you were making like a bolognese or a chili or that type of dish, where it's in one pot, have half the amount of mincemeat and then half the amount, add the beans in or the chickpeas or, like a chickpea curry, half the chicken, half the chickpeas, and then you're getting a bit more variety.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's about this. Yeah, it's about listening to your body and seeing when you eat, do you feel like you have indigestion? Do you feel like you get reflux? Do you feel like you get bloated? And, keeping a food diary is a great way to figure that out. So write down every day for 5 days and include the weekend because we tend to go mad at the weekend. And so write down what you've eaten, if you have any symptoms, your mood, and then if you've your poops as well, to write them down.
Yeah.
Because and then I would get every client to do that before they come see me, because we have a really good look at what patterns there might be there. And because sometimes, like some foods are really hard to digest. So rice can take up to 48 hours sometimes. So if you're getting indigestion now, you can taste what you had for lunch, because obviously that's coming back up. So you think that it's that food, but it's not. It could be going on lower down in your gut. It's just pushing everything back up.
Now you
so
said
that's a really good tool.
That's good to know. And you said something very important also, like carbs are important. Now, in the sports industry, in the fitness industry, a lot of people are like on very low carb, or then on keto, on a keto diet. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so very low carb might work for some people, and not for others. You need to make sure, like if you're doing a low carb diet, that you're doing it for a reason and for a short term, because carbs are very important. They give us fuel for energy. And sometimes people say keto works really well, and they're like, oh, well, I feel great on it. But when you look at what they've done, they probably went from having McDonald's at lunchtime every day, or, takeout at lunchtime, and, a lot of rice and noodles and a lot of carbs, as well as processed food. And all they really done was cut out all the processed food and then the carbs as well. So it mightn't necessarily be that keto is working for them. It might be they cleaned up their diet. Then you really need to make sure your cortisol, it's your hormone stress response, that's in a good place when you're trying any kind of diet. I would try and eat, like I said, with protein, fats and carbs for every meal, rather than jumping on a bandwagon of a diet.
Yeah.
But there's great studies to show it works. But there's keto, and then there's the Atkins style keto. So you remember Atkins, where so keto can be done very healthily. There's other nutritional therapists within with Ireland that I know of, and you do keto, but you still eat carbs. It's just lower carb vegetables, but it's still the healthiest way to do it is with a variety of carbs. And a big thing I get clients to do around carbs, they do need to eat them, but keep them for breakfast and for lunchtime, the majority of them, because carbs give you energy. So if you don't eat them all day and then you eat them in the evening, what are you going to do with that energy? You don't need that energy sitting on the sofa watching TV. Right. You need it for during the day. And then in the evening time, maybe a bigger protein portion and the lighter veg. But carbs are quite important. Can't remember exactly. I was just reading a study, but they're very important for hormonal growth, hormonal balance as well.
Okay.
So people, you can feel great. I myself felt, so when I first went to that nutrition therapist, I felt much better. And then as I was learning more, I cut out lots of different groups of foods and done it for too long and didn't feel well either and had to go back. It's all learning now. I can teach clients how to do it. But you can feel great up to 2 years when you take certain whole food groups out. But at around the 2-year mark, the nutritional deficiencies will start hitting you. And that's where you can see them. So it, like when we do consultations, we look at all the signs and symptoms, but we also do what are these symptoms and what deficiencies are they coming from? So like restless legs, sugar cravings, that can all go back to magnesium. Or if someone's like a lot of anxiety symptoms, are driven by B vitamin deficiencies. And when we bring in the B vitamins and healthy fats, it can help an awful lot with anxiety. And that's just something you're never told. I see a lot of clients, and I was offered them too when I was in a really bad way. The doctors they're not nutritionally trained. Of course, they'll save you if your life needs to be saved. But like being offered anti-anxiety meds instead of going back and looking at the diet, I find that quite sad, because you can get stuck into that rut then.
That's so true. That's so true. And there's a saying, you are what you eat, right? And there's so much truth to it.
Well, the new saying is, you are what you eats, because you're really what your bacteria eats. You have trillions of bacteria within your gut.
Oh,
So they're the ones that eat the food that you eat and then produce the different, hormones, vitamins, etc.
oh, wow. So thank you for this great insight. I already learned a lot,
Yeah.
and I also strongly believe that the gut is a very important part of our system and does a lot. So,
Yeah.
how do you help people now? You changed career, and how do you like? You're the healthy gut, right? Or gut? No, no,
Yeah,
no.
humble gut. Yeah.
Humble gut, humble gut. That's so funny. That's a
Humble
good one.
gut.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, humble gut. So, how do you help people today?
So sorry, can I just tell you, I picked humble gut because of the relationship with the brain and with the gut.
Wow.
So, because for years we would think the brain controlled what our stomach was doing or our gut was doing, and there's studies now to show like the vagus nerve from the brain signals to your gut, and your gut signals to your brain. So your gut does an awful lot of work, but it doesn't get the recognition that the brain gets. So it's quite humble. So that's what I really wanted, that relationship, that everything, the whole body
Terrie,
works.
that's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yay.
There's so much better. That's so good that we've spoken about it. Humble gut. Why? Yes, and there's so much better. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, because like in nutritional therapy, we work as the person as a whole. So you can't work just on the gut and not look at what's going on in the mind, not from a psychotherapy point of view, but just relieving stress and, that kind of thing. The whole body needs to work together.
Yeah.
So, what do I do with clients when they come in? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So clients will contact me and say, I have this or that issue. It's usually bloating, pain, can't lose weight, because of my age group now, I'm getting a lot of women with perimenopause symptoms, and really helping them balance their gut health really helps with hormonal health. I know that myself now. So they will contact me. I use a software system. It's all in one place. They can go in, look at my calendar, book a date that suits them.
Yeah.
When they book in, they'll have access to this private portal, so it's very safe. They'll complete 2 forms. So one is basic, like name, address, what are your symptoms, what are your goals, that kind of thing. And then the other one is like based on the functional medicine approach. So it asks you like 180 different questions. So remember I was saying, I'd never been asked this stuff before. And it only takes 10 or 15 minutes. I always say to sit down with a cup of tea, fill in the form. But it gives me a massive insight into what's going on, what's the root cause of their issue. So we don't really accept just, it's just IBS. What's causing it? What's going on? What can we do to feel better, And they'll keep a food diary for 5 days. There's a little section there they can do. And then I will take all that, spend a while, reviewing it.
Yeah.
What's the main organ that's causing an issue around, like connected to the gut? What deficiencies there might be, and what maybe kind of issues or red flags, what needs to be addressed really quick.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a session. I'm mostly online now, and the session is for an hour and a half, so it's really in depth. And I'll ask them a few more to expand on a few more of the stuff going on. I do a lot of, like what I'm doing now, I don't just tell them what to do, I explain what's going on and why it's working. And I think that's how you get a lot of buy-in from clients. Once they understand it, they can work better with it.
Yeah.
And then we'll agree some next steps. So small little changes that you can do. So sometimes it's as simple as make sure you eat a breakfast, and this is what to have for breakfast.
Yeah.
And try this for a week or so, and then we'll add something else in. And stuff around, exercise, mindfulness, that kind of thing. And maybe I'm not huge on giving loads of supplements. I try to never be more than 2 or 3, and only if needed. Sometimes a little support at the start. And clients then usually come back in about 3 or 4 weeks and are usually remarkable better. And the system I use, I graph it, so I can easily show this is where you are, and this is, you're up here, now you're feeling much calmer down here, each body system. So that's a great tool to use. And I know sometimes a lot of the feedback I would get, sometimes clients at first say, "Oh my God, the form is so long," but then they'll be like, "Wow, I've never been asked that before. I actually feel like I was listened to, and I was seen, and I was heard, and I'm actually getting an answer."
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, so that's what I love, when they actually come back and feel much better within a few weeks.
That's great, and then that's so much help, and does so much for the body. Yeah, because like even I feel like a lot of times very good, but seldom there are points where I feel like, am I really doing the right thing for myself? Am I really eating the right food? My habits and so on. And that's amazing what you do. And to be a nutritional therapist, especially for the humble gut. I love that one. I really love that, Terrie. That's amazing. So where can people get in touch with you and your program?
Okay, so my website is humblegut.ie.
Yeah.
No, .com. Humblegut.com.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My email is terrie@humblegut.com.
Mm-hmm.
I have a business WhatsApp. It's all details around my website. And then my Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are all humblegut.
Yes. Amazing. I'm going to blend it in then anyways, but it's also good to hear on people where they can get in touch with you and so on. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we are heading towards the end. What I would like to know is your biggest strength in one word.
Attention to detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Attention to detail.
That's okay.
That's 3 words, no problem, but I love it. I love it. And your vision for yourself, have you got like a big dream or a vision?
I would like to, I really enjoy the one-to-ones. So I really, my vision is to keep working one-to-ones. I do some talks, and sometimes I toy about thinking of opening a clinic, maybe a one-stop shop where other holistic people can come in.
Yes.
So maybe come do nutritional therapy, do yoga, do a Reiki class, or where it's all kind of one-stop shop. So that may be in the future.
That's beautiful. That's very, very beautiful, Terrie. So we're going to keep in touch anyways. That was an amazing chat with you, Terrie, and really eye-opening in a couple of topics. So thank you. Thanks a million for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you're doing and good for people and their health. And also it's always about mind, body, and soul, or spirit, and this holistic approach that you mentioned. I love that, and the gut plays an important role.
Absolutely,
So thank you so much, Terrie, and we're going to keep in touch anyways. And thank you guys for watching. And yes, stay tuned and also get in touch with Terrie and ask her questions if you got health topics where you feel like, oh yes, let's ask Terrie about that. So thank you guys, and thank you, Terrie. Thank you.
Thank you.